As Director for Western U.S. at Shooter Detection Systems, Tommi Robison-Farr is responsible for the development of brand recognition and market acceptance of the company's gunshot detection solutions to corporate, government, education, transportation, and public venues along the U.S. West Coast. Through her role and involvement as a next-generation security leader, Tommi is a respected change agent and market influencer for industry-leading physical, info security, emergency management, business continuity, and operational resilience in government and non-government organizations, especially where regulatory oversight, safety, and compliance are impacting drivers to their business and brand. Tommi is a senior fellow of the Homeland Security Emergency Management Center of Excellence, vice chair of ACES International Puget Sound, and past co-chair of Critical Infrastructure Protection Working Group, a King County advisory group under EMAC. Please help me welcome Tommi.
Wonderful. So how automating the alert for gunshots in your building, as I was mentioning, if you didn't hear me before, is the smartest building. Together, we'll outline how gunshot detection fits within the big picture of your overall active shooter program, and we'll walk through a practical and effective solution for integrating gunshot detection into the technologies your organization has already invested in. You know, it's stunning, the statistics that we just heard from Amanda, and I really appreciated her perspective on the importance of integrated crisis communication. It's the alert is, and the threat is this. Last year in 2019, there were more mass shootings, that's 4 or more folks were killed, than there were days in last year. There were over 419. That's astonishing at the increase of this threat. And so reducing response times, as Amanda was talking about, has become extremely critical for your business and for your reputation. Actually, as business leaders, we often used to say time is money, and under our current threat picture within the active shooter environment, that's really changing to time is lives. Autonomous alerting and intelligent buildings, well, my entree into security was actually as a degreed commercial facility designer and systems change professional, and I owned my own design build company. I love that my two worlds, security and life safety, and intention for effective design smart buildings, have now converged in such a powerful way. This should mean a lot to you. In the life safety world, well, we really don't have to go far for an example of a life-saving benefit and effectiveness that has come from automating life safety devices, the detection, alerting, and the emergency communication. Just imagine our world without smoke detectors and fire alarm systems. These devices are specially designed, independently validated, and require certification and ongoing testing for use. Well, certainly, we all understand how vital these devices are. They're effective at detecting and alerting us immediately on the onset of smoke or fire when it starts, and provide a dependable system to actually train our people, young and old, by running fire drills in an effort to reduce, mitigate, or obliterate altogether the catastrophic death and injury due to fire. Well, we all know that the code dictates their use, but it's also driven by a sense of responsibility and that duty of care that Amanda was talking about to provide safe buildings, safe and compliant work environments, schools, hospitals, shopping malls, stadiums, airports, where we worship, and all the places where we gather. It's universally known that their use has created or greatly reduced death, loss, and harm by fire. So gunshot detection is actually this generation's fire alarm. The National Fire Protection Association, who developed, approved, and uphold that life and asset saving NFPA code standard, provides the latest safety provisions to meet society's changing direction, signaling, and emergency communications demands. Well, it's no surprise, with the numerous active shooter events, like Amanda had reported, their increasing magnitude occurring across the globe, and due to the nature and frequency of these unpredictable events and the loss of life and the countless injuries it causes, that NFPA would lead a plan to implement policy for improved safety here too. December 2017, the Standards Council approved the development of an emergency preparedness and response to active shooter and hostile events policy standard. It is now designated as NFPA 3000. Given the important potential safety implications and deepening impact from the rise of active shooter events, this guidance was developed and ratified by public approval, progressed to public policy, and by May of 2018 was formalized to a provisional standard, and that is in the shortest time frame of any standard in the history of the NFPA. This new active shooter response standard applies to any community, any authority having jurisdiction, any facility, and any member of any organization who responds to or prepares for active shooter events. It's designed to help you plan, respond, and recover from an active shooter hostile event. So if you don't have an active shooter readiness plan or have been working on your own to develop one for your organization, NFPA 3000 will be an effective construct or foundation for your active shooter readiness and response program. We've all become far too familiar with this heinous problem. Nationwide and around the globe, communities are facing an increasing number of tragedies involving these active shooter events. The need for an integrated preparedness, response, and recovery program is greater than ever before. So like the dramatic need for automated smoke detection and fire alarm alerting that occurs automatically without any human intervention, gunshot detection and incident response that doesn't require any of your personnel, any of your customers, your patients, your students, passersby, or anyone that might even be a potential target themselves, to think to call 911 or your security, or to have to discern what they're hearing is actually a gunshot, or like a municipality customer, their former procedure was requiring that their personnel stay on the line with first responders until they arrive, and for them to have the presence of mind to provide the address of where they are or recite any of the unthinkable acts that they're witnessing. As Amanda was saying, automating this critical communication and sending it simultaneously to the first responders and your organization with verified, actionable intelligence immediately after the first shot significantly reduces response time, reduces confusion, and enables for the very first time an informed response the second the first responders land on site, and provide those in the building the accurate life safety instructions based on where the shooter is and tailored to address their specific situation. Now that saves lives. So at the end of this segment, my goal is you'll have a greater understanding of the life safety technology called gunshot detection and its importance and benefits to really ensuring emergency preparedness at your organization. My commitment is to be a dependable resource and to provide you with a roadmap toward better protecting your number one asset, your people, and your reputation. Certified gunshot detection technology is foundational to improving your active shooter readiness and incident response capabilities, and is vital to train against, supporting your NFPA 3000 compliance, and from a business perspective, necessary to reduce your organization's risk and liability. And when we're finding from our growing statistics from active shooter incidents that on average, one death occurs every 5 to 15 seconds within that scenario, can you imagine a smarter, more important smart building solution than that? So informed with accurate, timely situational awareness in real time, this invaluable information gives you the ability to deploy your active shooter protocols and training methods, no matter what training system that you have in place or which one you prefer. It begins with accurate detection. So I wanted to share a little bit about our history. I think it's important to know where this technology came from. And I'd also like for you to know the caliber of our scientists and engineers on our team dedicated to the initial and ongoing development of shooter detection systems. And they're absolutely intent on providing the best level of system engineering, programming, and customer service. Shooter detection systems engineering teams has 15 patents and 15 more patents pending in electrical engineering, signal processing, gunshot detection, and other innovations, actually including our patent-pending Guardian tester, which tests the system for optimum working without the need for a gunshot. Particularly beneficial in hospitals and courthouses and manufacturing plants that Amanda was talking about. Really, basically, any facility with 24/7 operating schedules that wouldn't be conducive to live fire system testing. If I have any military or former military on the call with us today, first off, we greatly appreciate your service to our country and the sacrifices protecting our freedom. We thank you. But looking at this slide, you may know about or recognize our boomerang gunshot detection technology right here on the development timeline. I've heard incredible stories and the high respect from field ops who quickly recognize our distinctive and effective gunshot detection device. Well, Chris Connors, our CEO, was formerly BBN. You see BBN Technologies was funded through the DARPA-funded research project. Chris led the development of boomerang gunshot detection technology for vehicle systems, developed and engineered by BBN Technology and Raytheon, one of our nation's largest military contractors, to protect our military and allied forces from opposition fire. This is our origin and start in gunshot detection. Well, Chris's daughters began elementary school, and he learned that they were starting shooter drills. And from a father's heart, hearing this, of course, he wanted to learn how he could help. Gunshot detection is really what he lived and breathed, and brought it to our military. And there must be some way to protect his little girls and their school with this proven technology. So he gathered crazy smart friends and colleagues from BBN, Raytheon, FEMA. You may already have heard Ed Davis, Boston's police commissioner during the Boston bombing, is also a contributor. And Jim Kim, who is an FBI active shooter expert, a Navy SEAL. This group, they all invested their time, their resources, all in effort, actually an amazing effort, to commercialize a highly complex military-grade gunshot detection technology that now easily fits in a duplex box. It really is a Herculean effort. It was important and needed, and they did it. And actually, I call Chris Connors a New Day patriot. The intention and dedication and sacrifice to bring this life safety certified anti-terrorism life-saving technology to a nation and a world so in need of it. I know I was surprised to learn in my research before joining the shooter detection team that shooter detection systems is the only gunshot detection technology available today that was developed specifically as gunshot detection device. And of course, we're the only technology proven for over a decade in real-world, wartime, active shooter environments. The boomerang gunshot detection device is often described as looking like a hat rack. Well, now that you know what it looks like, you may have actually seen them in use, or will notice them next time that you see a photograph or an interview of the president on the White House lawn, or speaking at a rally, or notice them protecting an NFL stadium, or NBA and NHL sports arena. Shooter detection and boomerang is the standard of choice for gunshot detection in 7 out of the 10 top utilities. It's this sector's best solution to achieve their NERC CIP 14 regulatory compliance. In fact, our technology was selected as the gunshot detection solution following, you may recall, the Metcalf substation shootings. That was the pivotal incident, resetting the regulation and the compliance requirements for critical infrastructure protection, protecting our nation's grid forever. The Guardian Indoor Active Shooter Detection System incorporates the world's finest acoustic gunshot identification software. It combines it with infrared gunfire flash detection to produce the highest performing, fully automatic, and most accurate gunshot detection available. The system's dual modality provides the highest rate of detection with 0 false alerts. Guardian simultaneously detects gunfire and immediately relays this information, popping in view a floor plan map with shot location, audible alerts and notification via text, email, and the other pathways Alertus Amanda was just talking about to send to key personnel and building occupants, fully automated with no human involvement at all required, removing human stress, misinformation, incorrect interaction, and mistakes from this process. So here's how it works. Microphones listen for acoustic signature of a gunshot. Infrared flash detection sensor and validate the gunshot. Dual mode or dual factor authentication. It's all completed at the edge in this very smart sensor. The Guardian sensor validates the acoustic bang by also looking for an infrared flash. All the data is processed within this sensor and automating communication for verified, actionable intelligence, again, sent to first responders and to your organization simultaneously. It's predictable, dependable, and it's automatic within 1 second, near real time of the first gunshot. Shooter detection systems gunshot detection does not rely on triangulation. You don't have to experience the false alarm or false positive challenges that other technologies do. There's no calibration required or needed, no mechanical settings or filtering in order for it to work properly. It's originally developed as a gunshot detection device. It's not just a big bang detector capturing sound. Our smart sensor detects even the low caliber 22, even suppressed or with a silencer, as we know, and like it was used in the Virginia Beach shooting. Well, and of course, shooter detection systems detect the higher caliber, high capacity magazine or automatic weapons. Especially as a life safety device, our sensors report back heartbeat messages and tamper maintenance alerts. You certify life safety equipment. So I'd rather not have you rely on just our self-assertions on our system's effectiveness, but I'd rather let government agencies and certifying regulatory bodies with extensive testing and stringent performance requirements who tested our technology and gave their stamp of approval be your guide. And it's validated performance for our 100% detection with 0 false alarms. So in the last slide, I bet you were as surprised as I was to learn that shooter detection system is the only gunshot detection technology proven over time in an active shooter environment, let alone protecting our military in the harshest proving ground of wartime. Shooter detection systems are as well the only gunshot certified fully by the Department of Homeland Security Act. It's that red seal that you see that denotes that it is fully certified as a mature system validated as a qualified anti-terrorism technology. As important as that is, our engineering team is actually even more proud of our CPNI you see in the blue. That's the Center for the Protection of National Infrastructure certification. It was deep testing over a year long. They were called the CENT trials. 4 rounds of evaluation, including lab validation, behavior analysis, and extensive system trials, and on-site device testing and physical tests that included live tactical response conducted by the UK's Metro Police Force. Is in these extensive on-site exercises and scenario drills that they validated that our systems met or exceeded their stringent performance requirements, earning their certification. SCS was certified with distinction, actually formally noted 100% detection rate, and certified with 0 false alarm or false alert rate. Similarly, you see the SCEC, that is for the Australian government, certified our technology against terrorism high-risk attacks. So let's not forget the all-important UL testing and validation and certification. Shooter Detection Systems Guardian is the only gunshot detection system to hold any, let alone all, of these certifications. It matters to us. We know it matters to you. It's what we do, and that's why we're good at it. I've got a cool slide a little later that reemphasizes how these federal and international validation and regulatory body certifications distinguish and differentiate shooter detection systems, and how they fit in your evaluation process and roadmap selecting a gunshot detection and life safety technology partner. So Shooter Detection's indoor gunshot detection solution, you know that's got to be a mouthful, right? Was created with integration in mind to offer any organization flexible notification options from the smallest school notifying law enforcement of a shooting event to the largest enterprise customer notifying its global security teams, leveraging the security, emergency, and life safety platforms and systems that they've not only invested in financially, but know and trust and build their protocols, training, and process culture around. With security systems integration, the Guardian system calls up the surveillance cameras in the incident area, initiates lockdown procedures, sends mass notification alerts to desktop, radios, and mobile devices, facilitates access control, and automates emergency lighting and alarms and other security notification devices, all while simultaneously notifying first responders and communicating this all-important situational awareness immediately after the full shot, getting fully automated with 100% detection and 0 false alarms. If we were meeting together, I'd ask how you currently communicate with your first responders or Security Ops Command Center. It's challenging to do so here, but I welcome the opportunity for this important conversation with you. So to make this possible, my contact information is at the end of the presentation, and I invite, again, we feel this is a very important conversation with you directly on how gunshot detection and how it fits within the big picture of your overall active shooter program. We should be honored to do so. Customers view our real-time alerting capabilities as the missing piece in their physical security technology and emergency management communication platforms, allowing their existing technologies to be even more effective in an active shooter event, and is equally impacting to be effective during false active shooter reports, like the many that we've seen unfold. Both building occupants and security personnel require immediate and reliable notification of a shooting event to make the best decisions to save their own lives or the lives of those they protect. The Guardian system provides this capability. Looking closely, you'll see my diagram showing a mixed PoE and wireless deployment. We introduced our Guardian wireless system, we call it the G3, last fall at Global Security Exchange in Chicago. And we received the Outstanding New Security Product Award for 2019, honored for exceptional product and program performance across the security sector. We're deploying wireless and hybrid systems with both hardwired and wireless installations starting this spring. Wireless gunshot detection sensors are powered with the same functionality but they have a long life battery and a sub 1 gigahertz communications channel along with AES encryption for optimum sensor uptime and network security. So the Guardian user interface, the data is then relayed from sensors to Guardian Gateway software, which is our situational awareness application. Shooter detection can either be the floor plan or the shooter tracking interface or be the accurate data running in the background of your platform's graphic interface. Either way, critical, actionable intelligence in real time, verifying the gunshot and locating the shooter or shooters from that very first shot. Gateway relays alerts via multiple pathways, as Amanda was sharing, using IP integrations or even a dry contact relay. So you see here that the shot location is on the floor plan. Opportunity absolutely scalable and expandable to include multi-floors, multi-site, provides information on the health and status of the devices. And as Amanda was talking, certainly using Alertus and other partner technologies for that desktop takeover. So when the event of an active shooter, it pops up and interrupts whatever is on the screen for both audible and visual alerts, giving you that breadcrumb trail of where the shooter or multiple shooters have entered your building and show how they navigate through the building. SCS network of resellers and service providers and technology partners like Alertus and consultants continues to grow. We've talked about how we're the missing piece in physical security information platform within an active shooter event. Now integrating gunshot detection into the technologies that you've already invested in. We value integration and teaming relationships with great, proven, reputable, and highly effective security, surveillance, communication, emergency, and information management technology innovators and manufacturers. If you don't see your platform, I notice our friends at Linnell are not represented. Shooter detection, gunshot detection works seamlessly either through system integration or effectively through relay and dry contact, as I mentioned. It's just as secure and without losing real-time data or communication. Very quickly, there's no organization, as Amanda was sharing, or market sector that's immune to the active shooter crime. Guardian is in use in enterprise deployments by Fortune 10 to 1,000 corporations, as well as in transportation, manufacturing, facilities and plants, sports arenas, retail, schools, and U.S. Department of Defense bases and federal government agencies. All those market segments that Amanda is showing on the map, you can see are impacted critically by active shooter crime. I'm happy to report, through partnership with one of our Fortune 3 company customers, our CEO has made the commitment to reinvest in schools and has restructured pricing to make it even easier for K-12 schools to deploy integrated shot detection solution across the school district and ensure that they can surely reduce response time, provide greater clarity in communication, and team with us to save lives in active shooter incidents. I'm sure you've noticed the noticeably white states, especially in my own Pacific Northwest, where I'm talking with you now. Since by coming onto Shooter Detection's team, we are growing service opportunities within the Pacific Northwest very quickly and look to have installations in Washington State, corporate home to many of our technology giants very soon. So we talked about how we're the missing piece in physical security information management. I wanted to show you just a visual example in terms of how that truly fits within the integrated and crisis communication and security platforms. You also can see here how it's demonstrated for the various customer requirements on their own communication protocols. If you notice here in the Kentucky automobile manufacturing plant, you can see here we actually work with our partners for audio alerts in 9 different languages. Everyone has specialized and tailored protocols that fit within their overall security and active shooter protocol and plan. So a particular customer case study that we partner with Alertus. We've got 24-hour operation locations with the highest number of employees. We have a unique environment in San Antonio with multiple entrances. And what if there was only one single security operations command center operator at the time of the shooting? They wanted to have a redundant fail-safe mechanism to alert employees. And they also wanted something that could easily integrate with other technologies. Mark Terry, the Director of Global Enterprise Security of Rackspace, wanted his employees to be notified wherever they might be. They could be on the phone with a customer, or at lunch, on their mobile, or glued to their PC screen with headphones on. The one piece of notification that Everbridge did not do is that desktop takeover, so important. This is where Alertus was brought in and worked so effectively. So we live in a world of system deployments, and I prefer to share those actual findings, the independent results and outcomes of our customers. I believe this may put a clear context in what reducing even minutes of automating detection and incident response communication means to your organization's safety and your active shooter readiness program. Thankfully, successful at stopping an active shooter attack from even happening at a Pokemon convention was at the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. The Boston Police and BC EC security team performed an active shooter exercise to measure their readiness to respond, even if it had not been the case. They ran scenarios with and without gunshot detection in place. Their independent time results were, as you can see here, without Guardian, the convention center did have a guard force immediately on site for this exercise, but they did have to rely on being at the right place or using their surveillance to have the right coverage of where the shooter or shooter began to shoot, and then engaging disparate surveillance, data, and communication technologies to report 911, to pull video, to place a PA announcement, and to send their mass and emergency notifications. They needed to make an all-call radio call and collect video data on the shooter. As you can see here, their time for this exercise was 13.5 to 18 minutes to locate the shooter and address the threat. This time does not cover the intel collection time via written reports from all the responders involved, or time to isolate and save video data, or review or compile intel forensically on the shooter or the active shooter incident itself to provide law enforcement. So in their first exercise with Guardian, it reduced their response time to 5 seconds or less. Shooter detection systems detected the gunshot and alarmed within 1 second of the first shot fired, and completed and accomplished within 4 seconds, folks, the automated mass notification, 100% confirmation, instant command center notification, real-time intel collected, and simultaneously fully automatic without human intervention. Police and 911 was contacted immediately and provided visual of the shooter at his location and verification, providing audible voice updates right in their ear via radio to both police and the convention center's guard force, sharing with them how he was shooting and where he was in the convention center, and continuously providing a visual to their dispatch and response team, verifying that there was only one shooter, his location, and the shooter's weapon and behavior prior to arriving on scene. So 5 seconds with 100% detection is significant. When remember my first slide, We now know an average duration of an active shooter or mass shooting incident is 5 to 7 minutes. And when an average of one death occurs every 5 to 15 seconds, seconds mean lives. I know I'm going a little bit over very quickly here. I believe that we all understand the problem. And when every second means that lives are on the line, your organization needs the most advanced and proven gunshot system available. I promise you a roadmap toward better protecting your number one asset, your people and your reputation, improving your organization's active shooter readiness and incident response capabilities by automating your emergency notifications with not only automated, but dependable and predictable and 100% verified gunshot detection at its foundation. So I'm hoping I was successful to help you know what to look for when evaluating a gunshot detection system and selecting a shooter detection system partner. Make sure that you understand their experience and history within gunshot detection. How well do they know the technology? What's their experience in the industry? Has it been tested for safety and performance from third-party validation and regulatory bodies? For those of you who own your organization's risk and have responsibility for life safety, the surest way to determine the most dependable and credible gunshot detection system is to follow the validations of the Department of Homeland Security Safety Act and the other national and international governing bodies such as CPNI and SCDC. Again, these are international regulatory bodies. Our own nations, the Underwriters Laboratory, grant certification only after passing extensive and stringent testing and deep dive evaluation. It's important to note that Shooter Detection Systems is the only gunshot detection technology who have met all of these critical requirements needed to be awarded for this certification. Make sure you understand how the technology sounds. How does it work? What is its performance statistics? How is it maintained? Can the technology be tested routinely over its life? It is a life safety device. Get to know the trained and certified installers, how it's going to be supported. And we know it can integrate, but what's the field use of these integrations? Have they been tested and certified? And are they mutually supported by the partner companies? And finally, are there customers who are using it? Well, who are they? And can you speak to the references? Can you speak to them? Gunshot detection is this generation's fire alarm, a verifiable life safety technology that merits your attention, your evaluation, and careful selection to fully support and benefit your active shooter readiness program and to partner with you and your organization to save lives and your brand. So I know I'm a bit over, Jessica, but I'm ready for questions if we have any from the group.
Perfect. Thank you, Tommi. We do have one question. The question here for you is, appreciate the new detection technology, but are false alarms still possible? For a healthcare application, the repercussions of a false alarm can be highly impactful.
Absolutely understand the impact, let alone the disruption of care to evacuate a building, but also what we've heard are weeks from the FBI evaluating and ensuring that there is still no threat. We absolutely understand that, and that's why it's the importance of our technology has that validation and verification through dual modality. So not only hears the sound of the acoustic signature, but also then verifies with that infrared flash.
Perfect.
We also have it tested. Yeah. Within that too, Jessica, I think it's important to note that our testing technology is designed especially for the hospital environment, where it really isn't conducive to have a gunshot to test, right? So we have a patent pending testing device that actually ensures that all functionality is in place and it's up and running. In addition to that, we have health and maintenance checks and heartbeats that alert and alarm on the screen to any interruption or even a reduction in signal.
Perfect. I will go ahead and ask one more question. Does a camera platform, for example, a Avigilon, integrate with your system, or does your system integrate into the Avigilon system?
Yes. Avigilon is a great partner of ours for video management system and surveillance, and it can either using our GUI for the floor plan and mapping, or we can just rest in the background and run and provide the confirming data that it truly was a gunshot. And then, of course, it, as Amanda was talking about, manipulates and zooms the cameras immediately to the location of the shooter and shooters and provides that data to first responders and back to the organization. Avigilon's a great partner.
Perfect. I do want to go ahead and thank you again. Thank you, Amanda and Tommy. We are now going to go ahead and break for our lunch. The next session will begin at 1 p.m. And from there, we will go ahead and start at the next sessions and resume the seminar. Thank you so much. And for any of the questions that were not answered, I will make sure to send you answers via email. All right, and we will go ahead and break.